Hi everybody. Okay, today's video is about my mind is my enemy. How we treat ourselves. I've been making a few videos about compassion and forgiveness and how to treat other people and so on. But a friend of mine came up with I was talking to him about 2 days ago, and he said, why don't you make a video about how we treat ourselves? And I thought to myself, that's a good idea. So I've been shuffling the cards a bit and trying to find something that will direct me in some kind of path or idea to find something to talk about. So I got the Empress upright, and here's what she looks like. Okay, so the Empress, I got this card and I thought to myself, well, how does this portray my mind being my enemy? But it didn't take me a long while to realize that this is actually the lesson we need to learn when we're dealing with uh, my mind is my enemy. Uh, Firstly, when we look at the Empress card, she's sitting outside, like many cards, and it's a beautiful area. And I'd like to begin to say that maybe if we have trouble with our own minds conspiring against us, we ought to get out more uh, with friends in nature, because nature has a way to, if you'll excuse the personification, to compliment you and to make you feel good about yourself without you even knowing it. It has, as many who gets out in nature will realize, it has a remedial property, and some faiths uh, believe in the outdoors and in nature, and that many of our answers to our questions lies in nature. Paganism is one of them, if you are into that. But I think no matter what conviction or path you're from, I think getting out in nature is a good idea. And then the second thing I noticed about the card, and I think the third thing I'm going to mention is going to be important, or maybe the fourth thing. Let's see where it goes. The third thing I noticed is the woman is dressed very well. And what does this mean? She's outside in nature, and I keep doing this thing with I keep clicking my tongue for some reason. I don't know why. Let me know if it's irritating. I'll try and work on it. She's beautifully groomed and dressed. And I've noticed that when we take care of ourselves, our bodies, and our grooming and how we dress, it actually does something to boost the more your general mood. So they say you shouldn't be narcissistic or you shouldn't love yourself too much. But I think in this case, if your mind's your enemy, you ought to pay more attention on what kind of attention you're giving yourself. So I think hanging around the house all day half dressed, it's probably not a good idea. I think what's a good idea is to get dressed in your best clothes. And I know some people have difficulty with finances, so but you get dressed and you groom yourself as best as you can, because this is already going to make you feel good about yourself. And you look at yourself in the mirror, and if you can, you spend some time at just kind of meditating and allowing the image you see. If you don't like looking at yourself, try looking at your makeup if you're a woman, or at your hair, or at your clothes, and let that speak to you like nature speaks to us. And this is a good tonic, I think. It's a good morale boost. And then you don't just do that. You go out, because the Empress is a social person. She comes just after the High Priestess, who's indoors. Although she's well dressed herself, it's not as lavish and almost fashionable as the Empress, because the High Priestess is a bit more serious, and that's not the kind of tone you want to carry with you. So maybe considering that the Empress comes after the High Priestess, it may also tell us that maybe we shouldn't be too serious about life, because the High Priestess is a very serious card, and she deals with serious things. And maybe when the Fool gets to the Empress, he relaxes a bit and have a cup of tea and some cake with her. So this means we should relax, with friends preferably. Then the third thing I noticed about the card is an Empress has a lot of support. So if your mind is your enemy, or if you don't feel like you have good thoughts about yourself, you probably ought to surround yourself with people that can support you, not like an Empress slaves, but more like people that make you feel good about yourself. So don't surround you with people, or stay connected unnecessarily with people that make you feel bad about yourself, because I think, or things for that matter, if anything or person makes you feel bad about yourself on an extended basis, you ought to break ties with that person, or stop thinking about or associating with that thing that does that to you. Because I think the reason we feel bad about ourselves 90% of the times start externally. So you want people in your life that support you and make you feel good about yourself, and do things with you that are fun and that you can enjoy yourself with. So sometimes we hang on to things or people that we think we have some kind of responsibility. Maybe it is your conviction. We spoke about convictions earlier, and maybe if your convictions don't work for you, you ought to change them a bit, or abandon them altogether. Because, like I say, what makes us feel bad starts probably externally. And maybe we're not beating up ourselves, but we have kind of forgotten about the things other people say and do, and paths we walk that make us feel bad about ourselves, and we can't live up to other people's expectations, or other paths or religion's expectations, and we keep feeling bad about ourselves. So if something doesn't work for you, or somebody puts you down the whole time, it's best to distance or break ties, I think. And then the last thing, which I think is most important in this video, I think the last thing in this video, which is quite important. I paused the video for a moment there because I thought I need to think about something new. Um, the Empress is a ruler, and she's supported by the Emperor. So she probably inherits uh, power and influence, or more power and influence and things from the Emperor. So again, we need supporting structures, and we need at least one thing that can carry us, uh, and something that we can rely on. But the Empress is also a ruler, like I said, and there needs to be at least one thing that we rule over in our life. And you'll find that some empresses have talents, and I think if you or anybody listening to this video can develop a skill as a, if whether it's work or whether it's a hobby, and you put all your, because the Empress is also a mother, a nurturer, and I think what I would like to say is we need to find a way to nurture something in our lives that's precious to us. And I think when we do not have that service, because when you look at a horoscope, the sixth position, one of the functions is service. And what's interesting about that is when we perform a function in life and we're good at it, I think the service that we provide to other people, how we nurture something or somebody, this could be a hobby, working with people, a single person, but especially hobbies that you put all your time in, your free time. If you have free time, of course, because many of us are busy with work and families, but I think it's important to have something in life, and I think this is one of my most important points, that we can nurture and see grow, how it grows. So maybe gardening as a easy example is not a bad thing. But I would also say, since the Empress is this is just another example, since the Empress is a mother, how the relationship we have, for example, with our children, what we put in and how that grows, I think is very important. Or this could be your ideas. If we don't have something to nurture in life, whether it be people or our children or our job, we have to have something in our life that gives us peace and satisfaction. And if you don't have something to nurture in your life, I think this is when our mind becomes our enemy, because then we have time to sit around and think about stuff, and we kind of start to feed on ourselves like a candle feeds on itself. But when you are feeding something and it develops and grows, something inside of you develops and grows along with it. So I think one of the big keys about not being your own enemy is to have that function or thing that you care for in life. This could, like I say, could be a hobby, it could be, use your imagination. I like poetry, so that really helps me to get rid of my stresses and my worries, and it helps me to deal with my emotions. And and I've been writing since 2007, so it's been a long journey. And if I take a look at my first poems, they were really awful, and when I take a look at them now, they're a little bit less awful. So find something to nurture in life, and all the other things I've mentioned in the video, take care of that as well. They're just as important. And we may find that with time we start feeling better about ourselves. Okay, if you think I've left out anything, or if you'd like to comment on the video, please do so in the comment section. My email address is in the credits. Next video will probably be about the star card in itself. I did a reading for a client, and it was also a horoscope spread, and in the third position, or was it, no, it was the second position for earned income and values. I was looking at values. I got the star card inverted, so I'll be talking about the star card in my next video, and see what I can share with you. Okay, have a nice day. Cheers.